Hello, warriors. Let me get my mouth to work. Everyone doing okay? Day before Turkey Day. Don't forget the giving part of Thanksgiving. Hi, Shahab. How are you? Morning, Brock. Okay, so here we are in the euro, testing 110 support again. Conventionally, you would buy it here with a tight stop, and I'm not saying it won't work, but I'm always a little skeptical. We had the first retest of support back here, so maybe it doesn't pay to be skeptical. Thank you, Forex Gal. And then here's the second test. We got this bounce. And here's the third test. And it kind of flies in the face of my philosophy of the market that, you have to be careful when the markets make it too convenient for you. So it's saying, okay, you missed this breakout. I'm going to give you another chance to get long. All right. Oh, you missed this retest, second one. I'm going to give you a chance to get long. This is Mr. Market saying this to you. And, it's my belief that markets will shake out as many participants as possible before the move they're looking for manifests, and then most likely without them. Anyone ever experienced Mr. Market doing that to you? Hello, Julian. Nice to meet you. I know I have. Oh, weak, Dark Star. Yeah, we have sometimes it seems like we have to be a masochist to do this. So we have Saeed with us today, Trader 1Z. Great way to end the holiday week. We're not going to be broadcasting Friday. So good time. I do believe we are going to have a Cyber Monday special. I think it starts Friday. So for those of you that have been looking for, an even better deal than 10 pips a month on a standard contract, I think you'll get 2 months for that 10 pips. So anyway, so I don't trust it as the bottom line to buy it here. Sometimes the obvious things work. I also remember an old market master, and you probably have to be, I don't know, prehistoric like me. Do you remember a guy named Joe Granville? Anyone out there? He had a very big reputation in the 80s. I know you guys weren't born yet. But one of his maxims, which, I take to heart, is what is most obvious is obviously wrong. Okay, so thank you, Abraham. Looking around, what's new? We have a new all-time high in the S&Ps. Anyone surprised? Yeah, actually confirming on the daily on the S&P now. So the divergences didn't work. Maybe a confirmed high will work. Anyway, I know that there were some, I want to see Blake's chart and Steve's. I remember someone talking about 3140, 3150, some type of resistance up here. I'm still trying it. Started scaling in yesterday. Don't do this, what I'm doing right now. I have no stops in, okay? I don't even have a mental stop. So anyway, we'll see if the ice cracks or I do. I'm not sure if we have a complete session on balance volume, guy. That's you, Neil? That's the work you do? OBV? Corn, wheat, and cotton? Maybe Steve will do that for you. So Blake, pre-holiday, watching paint dry and euro again, and
Yeah.
and the yen just won't give up the ghost yet. And I'm really surprised that the yen is holding up. Now it's decided to hook its ladder to S&Ps, but you know, TLT looks pretty good. So yields, this would normally be this kind of action put pressure on US dollar yen. So this correlation hasn't worked for a week or so.
Yeah, you know,
It's
the
a
dollar,
hitched wagon to the market now.
yeah, the dollar yen continues to grind higher with equities, and I mean, it's just, you know, it's playing a little bit of catch up, and you know, so I guess what's, you know, first of all, let me just say there is a comment from Dark Star, which I'm gonna have to I'll read because let me get to it really quick. He goes, the grind higher is frustrating. Can't go long for fear of a top. Can't go short for fear of continuing move higher. And that's exactly the sentiment of,
Yeah,
I would say, most of the market. You know, yesterday I was looking at this. You can see this is the Aussie yen, and
yeah.
I actually played it long yesterday. I bought it at 74.02. I think I sold it at 74.05 last night. I bought the New Zealand yen, very similar situation because it broke above 70. I'm like, oh, you know, here's the bullish wedge. I bought it at 70.10. Nice. Yeah, well, I mean, I bought it at 70. No, I'm sorry, 70.05 when we closed above there yesterday, above the 70. And then I sold it last night at like 70, I don't know, 12 or 15 or something.
It's
nothing.
sure been taking its time with a 100-handle rally in the S&Ps.
Well, that's the point that, you know, you in FX, I mean, we look for, you know, correlations. And the FX market is just, it's dead. I actually had to drive to about an hour away to pick up these pies. All right. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's like the best pies in Arizona.
Yeah. Where is that again?
Rock Springs, which is, it's halfway to Prescott from Phoenix. And it's an hour trip from
here. We go to Julian for their pies.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
it's like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're big pies. It's like $25. They're expensive. It's not cheap, but I mean, it's a treat, you know. It's
right.
I could go to Costco and, you know, for a pecan pie and spend $10, but instead I bought, you know, a $25 pecan pie. But it's more of it's a treat for our family type of thing. And we try to do it annually. And anyway, I went up.
That's better than me. I shoplift the pies.
Yeah, he was walking and started walking out with pies. I paid for these. Anyway, I went with a neighbor, and him and I we ran up there together, picked up some pies. He had a bunch of family coming in from California. So, you know, we were just talking about, and I was venting to him, you know, my frustrations in the market, and it's you know, because he's like, oh, you know, how things going, and I'm just like, you know, I was just trying to explain to him the basic concept of, you know, stocks continue to grind higher, but the FX market is just paralyzed, and we are just stuck in limbo because the FX market has come to a realization that the correlations aren't working. So, you know, again, you look at the Aussie yen, and I'm like, man, okay, S&Ps are breaking above, you know, this resistance, and you know, and that channel resistance that we had. I'm like, you know, we're just accelerating higher, so the Aussians got to play ball. And you know, here I go walking away with like 4 or 5 pips, and I'm like, yeah, and I have the same thought process as Darkstar. His comment was, you know, I'm just gonna take my few pips out of the market here and just walk away, because, you know, we have like daily sentiment index on VIX is at 10, you know, S&P is only at 85, so it could stretch even further. But it's like, you know, how about if things fall apart? I mean, my stops were, you know, let me just this goes along with, you know, ForexAnalytix and like the analysis that you'll see here on the Aussie yen. And this is basically my thought process from yesterday. You know, breakout is looming. The Aussie yen is approaching the triangle resistance, which could lead to a break higher with stocks moving higher. The risk reward is well defined, and it is. It's like, okay, I had my stops below 73.60. So my stops were down here. Okay. So let me just, illustrate that. My stops were down here and my entry was basically here. Let's just say that. And I was looking for maybe a move back up towards, up here. And everything is fine. I mean, patience to me in this market, it has to be, it's critical. But at the same time, I was like, do I really want the risk overnight after the market is stretched so far? And that's last night. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to sleep, and I just pulled it off the table and took some profits. And so, and little profits. I'm talking basically just taking the trade off the table. But it is very frustrating because the FX market is paralyzed because no one wants to bet big money on anything in the FX market with all the uncertainties. There's gamma all around. There's options expiring everywhere in the euro, all the way from 109 to 111, 112. There's, the dollar yen's boxed into this 109 area, everything from, 108.50 to 110. There's options expiring everywhere. So basically the market is it's stuck, and we need something to dislodge the market, some sort of volatility and some sort of announcement. And really all we have to look forward to right now is a China-US trade deal. And, that if you assume that that a deal is going to get done, then you have to be selling yen and just hoping for the best, and hoping that, you get a rally in risk. The flip side is if, the probably the better trade, which, I'm trying so hard to exercise, is just patience and, sitting around and waiting for an announcement to get made. I was drawing yesterday what I feel the S&P is doing right now, and I actually just drew this morning for no other reason than I was just doing a little chart work, but nothing exciting. I was drawing this for our viewers, not our viewers, I'm sorry, our traders yesterday on the S&P, and this is the daily chart. So if I have to draw for you guys what I imagine is going to happen. Now, I'm not a forecaster by any stretch of the means. I look at levels that I think are going to be significant and, try to pivot from there. But we're in that, the stock market acceleration phase. We're in the FOMO phase, I don't want to miss out. Everybody wants to be long because everybody wants to, be in the trade as there's an announcement being made. The fear of missing out. I can't, I can't be outdone by the S&P. I've got to have money allocated, if I'm a fund, because I don't want redemptions coming in. If I'm sitting in cash and the S&P is up, 20 some odd % for the year, or whatever the number is, so there's, this, everybody's just chasing the market at this point. And if I had to imagine, we're in that acceleration phase of a potentially blow off top where, and I've been explaining to you guys about the grind higher, and the grind higher, what I think is going to happen here is going to continue. And then we spike into probably some sort of key fib and then reverse from there. That's what I think is going to happen. If I had to imagine what is going to happen, is we're sitting on pins and needles waiting for an announcement. And then, the grind higher continues. An announcement is made, within a couple of days after that, we peak and then we reverse. And that's my working base case right now. That doesn't mean that that's going to happen. China can pull the rug out from underneath us like today or, you know, whenever, and we could be sitting here, everybody long, you know, waiting for this blow off top type of situation, and then China just pulls the rug and we just, you know, we drop, you know, straight down. And I think, you know, the risk of that happening is, I don't know, maybe 20%. But if that happens, I mean, we could have a 10% haircut in the S&P really fast as well. So, you know, and for FX traders like us, it is extremely frustrating because the currency market is not responding to this. And that's the most annoying thing, because, you know, I sit here and I trade the, like, you know, just for example, I trade the Aussie yen, like I did last night. And you have this breakout in, you know, the breakout in the stock market, and here we are trading at all-time highs overnight, and the Aussie yen can't rally. Why is that? I don't know. I mean, but it's definitely frustrating, because you would expect that a rally like that would take up risk currencies like the Aussie dollar, or you know, the New Zealand dollar would be more aggressive to the upside, where, you know, we are grinding higher. So one of the other things I just want to talk about is we have this, you know, situation where, you know, the FX market is very unresponsive. We are also in the end of month. There are, you know, banks are giving their end of month rebalancing model portfolios, and it suggests that there's some dollar selling coming. Now, the dollar selling, I would assume, is going to be more against the euro and maybe some against the pound. So we might see the euro, you know, press up towards 110.50 as things progress. I'm not trading the euro at the moment. I mean, we are finding, you know, support at 110, but just looking at the euro, I wouldn't be looking at it expecting, you know, this huge move to 111. Like I said, there's a lot of options expiring, you know, near current levels. So the beta is just really high around here. And so you just, you know, just want to be careful being too aggressive in this environment, despite what you might read as far as end of month rebalancing goes. One of the other things, and I'll let Stelios talk about it here in a minute, is, you know, the cable. The cable's getting a little bit of a lift. Yesterday was looking a little bleak as we were, you know, pushing towards 128. You know, here we are consolidating pretty tight. We have some polls that are going to be released, which, like I said, I'll let Stelios talk about that here in a moment. But the pound, you know, I think the thing I worry most about the cable is that we have this, you know, pennant formation, but we really need to start breaking higher soon. You know, I would think that we need to start rallying soon, because we're extending this pennant, you know, pretty long as far as time goes. So if there is going to be a breakout, like I said, you know, 130 would be, you know, the trigger for me. I'm just sitting here watching the cable, thinking if we get above 130, I might be willing to play. Or I was also thinking if we drop down to 129.50, I would be a buyer down here too. You know, closer to the 200-day moving average, or I'm sorry, 127.50 is what I meant to say. But somewhere down here, I'd be more willing to play it on the long side, or knowing that it was breaking out, I'd be willing to play. But, you know, in the middle of this pennant, I'm just not willing to do anything. And why stick my neck out at this stage? One other thing that there's some comments this morning about, you know, Fox Business put out a USMCA could pass by mid-December. We could see an announcement as early as today. If that happens, we would see some Canadian and peso near-term strength. One of the things about the Canadian is the dollar Canadian is right up against, let me let the charts populate here. So interesting. I know on TradingView, for me, some days I hit a good server where data populates instantaneously. Some days I don't. It's not like I do anything different every day. It's just, you know, whatever I happen to log into, it's like I hit a set of like weak servers. I don't know. But the dollar Canadian, while we're below this 133.50, I don't think there's any reason to be long. If we get above 133.50, that's a different story. Now, since, you know, if you're thinking, well, on a positive or a positive announcement about USMCA passing, it should be Canadian dollar positive, then, you know, maybe the best trade right now is just short the dollar Canadian, you know, back down to 131 and just play inside of this range. And that might be a decent trade as well, especially if we're looking for some dollar weakness going into month end. I'm not trading it. I'm just kind of giving you some of my thoughts here, as we see it. With that being said, everything else is really quiet at the moment, and maybe I can bring in Stelios and Steve and see if they have any comments regarding anything that I've been talking about.
Morning.
So, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning, Blake.
Hey, how you guys
Good morning,
doing?
Stelio. Good morning, Dale.
I've been thinking this morning along
Morning.
the lines of Star Wars. We have US data today. You know, help me, US data. You're my only hope.
Really, I mean, it really is. I mean, that's it, right? I mean, there's not a whole lot. This is our. We have some preliminary GDP numbers coming out. We have jobless claims are going to be released early. Durable goods orders. Yeah, I mean, so let's hope we get some movement here.
Yeah. Let's see. You did mention the UK. So just a very brief word. Today we get the MRP poll from YouGov. MRP is the multi-level regression and post-stratification poll, whatever that means. But it's supposed to be the most accurate one. It correctly predicted the hung parliament 2017, and also details like Labour winning Kensington and Chelsea and seats like that. So everybody's waiting for that, and you can be sure that whatever result that gives, the market reaction will probably be exaggerated initially. The pound is a little bit stronger today. I don't think there's a particular reason for it. It was a little bit weaker yesterday. It's just just moving a little bit ahead of this poll. So that's the event of the day. Unfortunately for us, it's a bit late, so it's going to be midnight our local time, 10 p.m. UK time. I'm going to be fast asleep, but I'm going to.
Yeah, it is 10 p.m. UK time, right?
Yes.
So, and you know, Amanda is in our chat room. She was trying to downplay the significance of this, but because of the scope of who they're polling. But the flip side to that is this poll has been accurate in reading previous outcomes of events as well. So that's why the market is really focused on it. And again, for the cable, I'm really not interested. I wish I could say I was so interested in what's happening here, but I'm really not. So we'll see if something develops out of that as well. So Steve, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Just exchanging cultural opinions on Skype with Joe, as you say, because the market.
I'm not watching. So yeah.
I'm wondering how you're not, because there is nothing to watch in the market.
Oh, because I'm sitting here looking at nothing. Yeah. So, well, today is the day before Thanksgiving. So let's all just remember. In the United States, we're observing the Thanksgiving holiday. Typically, Thanksgiving holidays can be, pretty slow. I have on occasion seen volatility because, we're the only country celebrating Thanksgiving. Obviously, nobody in Mexico or Greece or, or China is celebrating Thanksgiving.
Not true. We were celebrating it in my school.
No, the majority of people. And so people are still going to be around, and there's still going to be, events happening. So there could be some volatility, even though, some of the biggest liquidity will be out. So therefore we have to, I still pay attention to quotes even through Thanksgiving, through tomorrow and Friday, even though we are technically not broadcasting. I will still be paying attention to the market, glancing at my phone every once in a while. I'll be adjusting. I'll sit down, over the course of the next couple of days, and I'll be adjusting, some of the support and resistance levels on ForexAnalytix, because these help notify me, not just you, but me too, if the market's moving, because if a support or resistance level gets breached, it automatically sends a message to my phone.
Come on, Blake. We know you're going to
yeah.
be eating pie.
Well, I will be eating pie, and I might have a whiskey or two. But I'm just saying that
don't get any pie on your phone or anything. You might miss a quote.
I will not. But I am eating bourbon whiskey pecan pie anyway. But the other thing is also we'll be updating sporadically over the course of the next couple of days if there should be some movement. Now, I want to say that Friday we do not have a scheduled face webinar. However, if there is something that's moving, Stelios and Steve will light up Twitter and let everybody know that there's a webinar that's going to be broadcasted. So just follow ForexAnalytix on Twitter if you guys don't already, because if there's a link that's going out, it'll go out via Twitter really quick. So just letting you guys all know that. But for those of you that are celebrating the Thanksgiving holiday, let's be thankful that we're going to have a China-US trade deal soon, and let's be thankful that volatility should be following that soon, and let's all be thankful that we could sit here and participate in the markets even when it's extremely slow. And I want to say I'm very thankful for my team here at ForexAnalytix. You guys are all rock stars, and I want to thank all of you viewers, listeners that continue to listen in despite the very slow market conditions that we've seen the last few months, because it may be slow now, but it will not stay slow forever. And it's always darkest before dawn. So
happy Thanksgiving, brother.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Good luck today and good luck the next couple of days. And if I don't see you on the webinars or anything, I will be here on Monday. So you guys have a great one, and I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues. Thank you all very much for being part of our family and our journey. So appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you, Blake.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Blake. We have quite a lot of data, Stelio, right? Coming up.
We do, yes. It's we have core PCE, which is the Fed's theoretically the favorite inflation measure. Durable goods, GDP, obviously, it's expected to just drop 0.1. Chicago PMI later, pending home sales. We have quite a bit of stuff, which is good. Maybe it's going to bring some change to the markets. I doubt it, but you never know. But otherwise, it's been a very quiet morning. We've had very little data-wise. We had Norway unemployment ticking up at really 3.7, 3.8, 3.9. Who cares? It's really the same thing. It's been like watching paint dry. It's very frustrating, actually.
Yeah, just the usual slow grind higher in
Steve, could you get excited about shorting S&Ps up here around this 31.5 level?
Getting excited?
Can you?
No.
Do you want to do it?
I would have done it when we got rejected from that area of resistance if I saw follow through, but there was no follow through.
Okay, so if we get follow through today, what would that mean to you?
I want to see now that we've thrown the wedge. What I need to see
is back inside.
Is back inside and closing below 30.90.
Okay, that was last week's lows.
That would get me interested again.
Thank you.
I was interested last week if that stall that we had in that lovely confluence of resistances.
Well, there was a couple of good short trades from up there last week.
Did produce something more to talk about, but unfortunately it was one day. Then the next day looked like it would be continuation, but instead of that we pared back the losses quite fast and closed almost until
Friday. They got them all back in a day because I was working the short side last week.
Yeah, that for me was a telltale sign that the market is not ready to move lower yet. Let's see. By the way, we have data like
5 seconds. Yes.
5 seconds. Yes.
Have a look.
Any second now.
3,200, yeah, DJ.
GDP 2.1, so that beat core PCE. I don't see it yet. Oh, where is core PCE?
Okay, so all data better, mostly GDP because the rest are, I mean, yeah, US durable goods actually. I mean, we had a forecast of minus 0.8, so that was a big bit with positive 0.6. Okay, so positive data. Let's see how the markets are reacting to it. First of all,
By the way, Steve, revisions in durable goods were exactly the opposite, so 1% worse. So I think that was a non-event, that number.
yeah, it was minus 1.4% the revision. Yes, yes. So
Metals are
yeah,
moving a little bit.
GDP is somewhat better. Yeah, nothing that will probably, we might see some dollar strengthening here. I mean, we do see Europe pushing slightly lower, but the market doesn't really
You know what
seem...
happens first when US data is good? Metals get smashed, right? This is the first move always.
Yeah, usually, yes. Let's have a look at the metals, since you mentioned it. Gold is lower on the day, silver is lower on the day, but as I was explaining the other day, I think this is to be expected because if you look at the short-term charts in gold and silver, especially silver was the best indicator here. You know, we've had price action that has been like very corrective in nature. So although we did find support at an interesting level, the type of rebound we've had since, I think, you know, shows that there is a good chance that we're going to see lower levels. Same here with gold. Gold created that nice pennant. It has broken lower. I think we have a nice confluence here of supports roughly at 1433, 1435. I think that's doable, actually. And I think that might prove to be a very nice, actually, buying opportunity. I still view this whole move lower as corrective. I think it has truly corrective characteristics. I mean, it's slow. It has many periods that price action is choppy and overlapping, and it's very orderly, especially in comparison to the move that we had higher, which in essence began at the beginning of summer. So I do think that, you know, gold and silver might spend a little bit more time correcting and consolidating, but at the end of the day, the path of least resistance, in my opinion, remains to the upside. USD yen is once again trying to wrong chart, to push towards the inverted head and shoulders formation neckline, which isn't far away. But we're still like 20, 30 pips away from that. Now, theoretically speaking, symmetry is still somewhat okay. So, you know, if we see a break above like 109.50, we might see a decent extension to the upside, and it might do some catching up with what stocks have been doing, which, as we saw before, the S&P is now trading clearly above this ascending wedge. The same deal here with the Nasdaq. The IWM, as we mentioned the other day, yesterday it ended up unchanged on the day, but you know, it was the second day in a row that it has now closed above the long-term rectangle, and you know, as long as we stay above it, extending to complete the target is definitely a likely scenario. The DAX continues to produce a bull flag, most likely. I mean, it's the same type of price action we've seen multiple times. The fact that although it was overbought, it has failed to really move lower, and it's just consolidating a little bit in time, probably indicates that we're going to have another extension higher. The same was the case with the Nikkei, which is now breaking above the equivalent. We spoke about it last week. I showed this flag, and we're now breaking above it, and that might also point to the USD yen making the move, because we know there's a decent correlation between the USD yen and the Nikkei for more than one reasons. Australian, and the reason I want to show Australian is because at some point I had also mentioned this, because this is one of the most technical indices out there. It has been in a prolonged uptrend within this very, very pretty channel. I mean, it channels perfectly, almost perfectly. And the recent price action was clearly a triangle. We broke above it, we retested it a couple of times, and we're now pushing higher. So another move towards the confluence of this channel and 161.8 of the last big move lower at 7,000, which is also a very nice round number, looks like a likely scenario here as well. So in general, no matter, almost no matter which stock index you look at, here is the FTSE. FTSE is somewhat underperforming, but that can be explained in part due to the recent cable strength, which acts as a headwind, plus, the usual uncertainty surrounding Brexit, which has been a given anyhow for quite some time. So, it's no wonder that with a combination of the two, the FTSE is underperforming, but it might also explode higher following an election result that will point to some quick resolution of the whole situation. So let's say if the Tories get like a good majority or whatever, I think it should respond positively, even though the pound is going to be climbing at the same time as well. By the way, let me have a look at a few of your questions, because it's not too many things somebody can talk about, so you might have some ideas. Definitely looking to short at 3,200 S&P. Yeah, let's see. Let's get first gold dump. Yeah, I mean, that's to be expected. In the short term, I remain bearish the two metals. I repeat, in the short term, right? So don't misunderstand me. I'm still very, very bullish in the medium to long term, but in the short term, they look like they want to go lower first. So there's no reason to fight that. Yes, I did feel the earthquake. Actually, the earthquake was very far away. It was in
Albania.
the island. No. We're talking about, we had an earthquake today. I was in bed with my son. It was here. There you go.
Oh.
And Athens is there, and still we felt it quite strongly. It was a 6.0 magnitude earthquake.
Yeah.
So we felt it. I mean, he asked me what is that. I told him it's an earthquake. No, that was my kitty. Yes, one of the two.
Did she warn you? They know before they come.
She wasn't in the same room, so I don't know. She was sleeping. She was sleeping in the bed.
It's only dogs, isn't it? It's dogs that know. Not
dogs. Is it? Okay.
That's what I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
I think all animals.
Speaking of which, Stelio, did Millie and Mike go berserk?
I wasn't at home. I was at the gym, so I have no idea.
Okay.
Were you benching 315? Was it on your chest for your last rep when with no spotter? All right.
Let's see. Have you talked about Bitcoin? No, we haven't. But you know something? I haven't spoken about the cryptocurrencies for quite some time, so it's not a bad idea to have a fast mention about them. And I have to tell you that price action here in Bitcoin, is not looking that good. I mean, initially that looked like a nice, potentially bullish triangle, but instead of breaking higher, you can see here the intermittent trend line.
Steve, I don't like the action in the stock market compared to what the yen is doing and everything. No one wants to sell these things today. I'm just saying, look at it. We're leaving a little wick on a couple of the indices right here. So the yen rallied to new highs and the indexes did not. on that GDP news? What do they want?
I don't know if they believe foolishly, but I don't think that's the case. I don't know if they believe foolishly that perhaps somewhat better data is going to change the monetary policy approach from the Fed, because as I was explaining yesterday, and I mean, I would be willing to bet a lot of money on that. The Fed, from this point on, has only two possible paths. One is staying put for some time. Two,
Yeah, I was just talking about today's action.
Getting even more accommodative. So far,
thank you.
So far, Coach. I mean, we haven't seen.
Well, go to like I don't know.
Tell me.
Go to a 1 minute chart. You'll see how far.
Oh, to a 1 minute chart.
No,
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
kidding you.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
kidding.
I know you're kidding. I wouldn't go in a 1 minute. I remember, this.
Do a
this
tick chart. Tick chart.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah, you traded off a tick. Yeah.
I'll tell you, the first week I started trading, I was looking also at tick charts, but that was like 15 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So I was looking at tick charts, and after a week I was like
exhausted.
No, I was like, oh my God, this is just completely worthless,
Well, you're fortunate. It only took you a week to find that out.
Yeah,
that's quick. All right, buddy, go ahead.
So having to do with cryptocurrencies. Now, first of all, Ethereum is backtesting this descending wedge. So let me be very clear here. The price action, especially in Ethereum, is not bullish in any case, but if you like it to the upside, this nice confluence of supports gives you an excellent risk-reward ratio. You have to consider, though, that the RSI is showing oversold, which is a signal that, yes, we might have a short-term rebound, but it is a signal that, there is no, no bullish momentum here, quite the opposite. Bitcoin is also moving quite lower, faked out. I bet a lot of people when we had that triangle, because usually triangles are continuation formations. So I bet a lot of people started buying it off these triangles support after it tested it for a couple of times, and then it just puked lower. Then it faked people once again, because this was clearly, in usual charts, it would have been clearly a continuation formation. It broke lower for a day, then it exploded higher. So, many people thought, okay, that was it. And then once again, we started dripping lower initially, only to accelerate. So I have to tell you that reading the price action here in Bitcoin is not easy to do. So you probably are better by looking at the bigger picture, because the shorter moves are so volatile that you can't trust so much the formations that you see. I'm looking at this larger descending channel, and we can easily move lower towards 5,500 to retest that before moving higher. I really see nothing bullish here. We're now back testing previous support as resistance, and we seem to be stalling. The RSI has also already broken below this trend line support. So I mean, I think it's a very dangerous proposition being bullish here. I don't see anything yet. Of course, we've seen time and time again that crazy stuff can happen to Bitcoin. You can see a 40% move higher, within a few days. That is why I'm not even considering trading. I've only traded once cryptocurrencies. It was some time ago, if you remember, Coach. We were talking about it on the webinar as well. In general, I prefer to trade other things, because I think there is a lot of forces in play in cryptocurrencies that it's not even easy to understand or
we liked him in February.
Yes. Specifically,
you were in Ethereum, and I bought GBTC.
Exactly. Specifically, I was long Ethereum, and that worked out nicely. This is the only time I've actually traded cryptocurrencies.
How many people besides you and me, Steve, remember you were long Ethereum?
Who knows?
No one. I know.
DJ says McAfee might have to eat his appendage after all if Bitcoin doesn't hit 1 million handle. Yeah, he has.
Oh,
If I
gosh.
remember right, he has said that he's going to eat his penis. Let me be let me be politically correct with that. If it doesn't reach 1 million by the end, I think of, was it this year?
I don't know how
DJ,
he's going to do that. He was castrated in Belize before he escaped. So, I think that's a false misrepresentation of.
Perhaps he has kept it in a jar or something.
I know, but before he got out of that country, I'm sure they took care of that for him.
Yeah,
Remember when he was on the run? So, I've interviewed McAfee. Okay, DJ. So
Seriously?
yeah,
when?
at FX Street. So just keep in mind, at that time he was, going to be a contender for the Libertarian Party in 2016, and he wasn't even talking crypto. He was talking about power grid failures, etc. And I'm just saying, consider the source. He's a bright guy, but he's a character.
No, he's not a bright guy.
He's a character.
He's a brilliant guy. He's what we call brilliant lunatic, more or less. That's what he is.
Yeah, so I could relate to him. Anyway, he's smoking on camera. We would do it on camera, and he's smoking there on camera. Yeah, I want to be president. Anyway.
He has actually mentioned in the past, which is quite interesting, that he's probably the only person on the
planet
on the planet that he could run both for U.S. president and UK prime minister, because he's from US descendants, but he was born in a UK military base or something like that. So he was mentioning that I can run in both countries. He has some thoughts like that.
Yeah, see what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I rest my case. So anyway, what McAfee says, take it with a grain. That's all.
With a lot of grain, actually. Yeah.
At least a grain.
Yeah.
Oh, and he plays a left-handed piano. Oh, he's a lefty too, like me.
Yeah.
Somebody, do you want to look at grains, Matt? There's not much happening in FX.
No problem whatsoever. And we also had questions prior to that. And I'm going to look at grains.
And you have about 13 minutes because Saeed is here.
Could you check corn, wheat, cotton? Yeah. Okay, so we have a lot of people that want commodities. Okay, I'm not in general looking at them, but I'll gladly do it with you.
Well, you sure consume plenty of them.
No,
you've lost weight. That's right. You stopped consuming.
Just don't even mention that.
I made up for it. I'm at a new high at 230
I lost
at the doctor's.
7 kilograms in 1 month. You guys try this.
Well, I know where they went.
You?
Yeah, bro.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Corn, wheat, and all the rest. Let's have a look. Somebody asked for nat gas as well. Let's start by that. Okay. Natural gas finding support here at the 50 and 200 DMA. I'm a little bit troubled by the fact that we had a perfect rebound in 3 waves like ABC. You can see a quality target up there. So we got perfectly rejected from there. So I have to say that, okay, we're sitting exactly on top of the 15 to 200 DMA, but if we bridge through them, I think we might even see lower prices in natural gas. So be careful here. I drew back then that we should pull back, and this support area should let us know if that was a corrective move that's already over or not. But since, the 50 and 200 DMA are, exactly just below, I think, we should extend, support to this area, to like 248. Now, below 248, I think we're moving lower. Now, having to do with corn. Okay, let's see. Is this actually an accurate depiction of corn? Commodity trust corn? No, probably, right? No, that's the ETF, no future. Okay. Oh, we have a CFD, and here are the futures. Okay. Continuous contract. There we go. There we. Oh, we have actually had this chart. Okay, so we had a look at this chart like a long time ago, and I said that, listen, we might see, since this is a triangle, we might see one more push lower before we head higher. Anyhow, it's a triangle. I mean, whichever side it broke, you had to respect it. We got the exact opposite, so we didn't get continuation, as you see. We did get a break higher, but that was short-lived. And we're now again, more or less, we rebounded again from the same trend line, right? So far, I have to say that this fake break higher is somewhat troubling. But we're back in consolidation, right? So perhaps we're going to get that scenario just later on. I mean, perhaps we're going to get this scenario now that a lot of people probably that were short are out of the market. We might eventually see corn pushing to lower lows before higher, because I do believe, for various reasons, that if we get one more leg to the downside, it might be terminal, and then we might see quite a nice rebound from there. RSI, as you see, is also mid-range, which is another testament that there is no current there's no current trend here at the moment. Okay. So corn, wheat, what's the other one? Let me see. Question, cotton. Okay. Let's have a look at cotton as well. Let's see. Cotton futures. Okay, there it is. So obviously, we topped out in 2011 there. We've had like a major bearish move since then. We're now seeing a rebound, but the question is, what kind of a rebound is this? And the answer is, doesn't look impulsive to me. So I would be watching this channel here. This is also an interesting horizontal resistance area, more or less. There you go. 200 DMA just above as well. So be careful here with cotton, because I think it might not have much more to run to the upside before it rolls over again. So 200 daily moving average, this zone, the rebound so far is channeled. Even RSI, for the time being, seems to be diverging. We had a higher high, but the RSI didn't produce something equivalent. Given the prior move, which is lower, let's see. There you go, triple confluence of resistances, right? There, at 67.50, let's say. So 67.50 key level for the trend. As long as we trade below it, I think, staying short makes sense 100%. Above 67.50, we can extend, because this is a very nice triple confluence of resistance. So that's what I think about cotton. Let's see what else. Wheat. We have a CFD. We also have the futures. Okay. Wheat, quite a nice move lower, but resembles more, as you see, the triangle, right? Can end up being accumulation. It can.
Yeah, it looks the best of all the grains.
Yeah, it can end up being accumulation, but from a risk reward perspective, against this trend line, it would make sense to try to be on the short side. Now, if we break that one, then I would be watching for this one. So I think that if we extend above there, then we can see a rebound extending towards that trend line. So there's going to be quite a nice we're going to have quite a nice room to move to the upside if we make it through that first trend line, making it to the second.
I believe it's going to take a much more an aggressive turn in the dollar to turn the grains. I think that's going to be part of the equation.
That's definitely gonna help a lot. There's no question about it. I mean, everything that is USD.
Right, nominal gains.
Yeah, exactly. So natural.
But China has
oil,
been like the big of all the grains imported by China. They've been stockpiling wheat for, during this whole formation. Angie Setzer, who covers the grains, talked about it a year or so ago. I mean, they've been really stockpiling wheat, and actually they have a problem with their agriculture right now. It's called an army worm. I was going to ask Blake if he knew about it, but he was a Marine. But it's not only the hog population that has been decimated, but now they're having trouble with their grain crop because of this pest. So
that's actually very interesting.
Yeah, it's called an army worm. So Google it, and you don't use them for fishing. They like grain.
Okay.
All right.
I think the only question I haven't answered is the one about
coffee.
Oh, we had a question about coffee.
Yeah, I heard it broke when you gave it up for
a
week
coffee.
Or so.
Okay, sure. Yeah. No,
it declined because of your,
Oh my God! Yeah, I mean,
consumption.
This was a horrific experience I had due to gastritis. I had to cut coffee cold turkey. Needless to say that
must have had headache, migraines every day.
The withdrawal symptoms were horrific. I mean, I felt fatigued all day long for the first 2-3 days, but most importantly, I had like for 10, 11, 12 days, something like that. I had like every second day, like horrible migraines and headaches. But, after like 10 days, symptoms started receding and I'm absolutely fine. Although I miss it as a taste. I mean, I like coffee. I like coffee as a drink, so I do miss it.
Well, it was a good warm-up for you for when you kick heroin. Let me know how that goes, bro.
Probably I'm one of the very few people in my generation, I'm almost 40 now, that I have tried no illegal narcotics ever. Not
my
even
God. Oh, you got to come visit me in California. We'll go to.
Yeah, I never felt the the need or I wasn't even curious about it.
Okay. You still have to. You still have to come out and get curious.
And one of the the last of the 3 times I was drunk, it was in 1997.
Oh, see, look, army worms are a problem in Texas too. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so to answer those 2 questions, what's happening here with crude? Nothing has changed. It's clearly not easy for it to climb higher. We remain within this channel. We remain within the bigger triangle. I think there is a good chance that it's going to fail either from here or from a little bit higher. So, if I had to do something with it at the moment, I would prefer to be short than anything else. And coffee, let's have a look at it. Let's see if it responded.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, do you know how you could tell whether or not these army worms are Italian army worms?
No.
They raise their hands up and surrender. I made it up, man. I hope I didn't offend any of our Italian.
Listen, to
Macho,
be very honest,
man. Huh?
Coffee is by far here the most interesting of all the commodities we had. Look at this.
Look at that.
This is a legitimate break. It's not only a legitimate break.
Look how it goes back to 2015?
2014.
Wow.
So September 2014, we broke that trend line, and not only we did break above it, but we confirmed its importance by coming down and retesting it. And look at the nature of this move higher.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you, coffee looks very, very appealing.
That's
to the
not
upside here.
decaf.
You know that decaf has caffeine as well, right? You do know.
Sure, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
depends
Huh?
depends on the method of taking the caffeine out. It might have something between like 1 to 5% of the regular amount of caffeine.
Okay. Do you want to show any gold coins before we continue to the interview?
You know something?
Like you did earlier in the week, huh?
If you remind me tomorrow before the webinar, I'm actually going to show you live on camera a real one.
You're going to be doing the whole webinar tomorrow.
Oh yeah, there's no webinar tomorrow. Yes.
Oh well, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, but
okay.
as
so
we said,
I can't remind you.
Yeah, we might have indeed. We might have though on Friday. Depends
Yeah.
on what kind of price action we're gonna have. If we are to have, you're gonna receive a reminder email. So I'm gonna make sure to. I still haven't canceled Friday's webinar. I'm gonna cancel it if there is nothing to talk about. If you do receive a reminder email, it means that we're going to do the Friday webinar stages.
Okay. So if you think Steve goes through withdrawals, giving up coffee, wait till he has to give up talking for a few days. So thank you, bro. And I know you don't celebrate it, but I think every day should be Thanksgiving. And,
as long as we're healthy, and
right.
you know, same applies to our families.
Yeah.
I think yes, I agree with you.
We're working, we're indoors, we have food on our table. So I'm thankful I got to know you over the last 2.5, 3 years, Steve.
The feelings are mutual, you know that.
All right, buddy. So without ForexAnalytix, I never would have met Saeed Zaman. So Saeed, you're on deck, buddy. Let's see.
Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, to everybody.
Thank you, Steve.
I heard decaf does not have the cancer-preventing properties of normal coffee. That is true. It has been proven that coffee has cancer-preventing properties. But you know, as in everything in life, you should do that in moderation. So ideally, you know, 1 maximum 2 coffees per day, and depends on the coffee. I mean, if you go to Starbucks, because I know that especially you Americans like to oversize everything. If you go to like a Starbucks and buy like the huge container that has enough caffeine for a whole day. So when I'm saying like 2 coffees per day, I'm talking about like a single dose cappuccino coffees, not about like supersized half a liter cups of coffee, because you know that's probably the maximum doses you can get in a whole day.
Yeah.
Plus.
Go have a cup. And Saeed,
hello.
Can you hear me, brother?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. And can you share your screen?
It says I cannot.
Yeah, you can now. And maybe turn your volume up a little bit.
Is my audio low?
A little bit, yeah, brother.
I'm not sure how to change it, to be honest.
Okay, well then just yell at me.
Okay, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Okay.
Okay. What chart can you see?
Right now you have the yen up there, 4 hour.
Yep. So.
Thank you for coming back, bro.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me on again.
Yeah, and what a great way to wrap up a holiday week, because when you come in, you bring us crystallized views. Appreciate all you've done over the course of time, that you've become like a regular in our community. So I remember last time we were talking, you were avoiding US dollar pairs and trading other pairs because the dollar wasn't clear to you. Looks like you're back into looking at dollar pairs again. Huh?
Well, to be honest with you, not much has changed. I mean, I've had a few plans this week. It's only one trade I've taken, which was a loss. Still difficult environment for me at the moment. But let's start off with the dollar yen. So bigger picture view, say clean dollar yen, shut up. I do have a macro bigger bullish dollar yen view. But at the moment, across the market, it's been so shy. It's been difficult to trade. I've had a few plans. None of them are triggering. So been in the sidelines a lot. I've been making the most of crypto lately.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that, because at least there you have some reflexive moves every once in a while.
Yeah, and
that pay.
They pay big.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So I'll go with my dollar yen view. I'll break it down what I've got. So going with the dollar yen, I mean, I started off with a bearish bias. I was looking for downside, okay, and bigger picture remains bullish, but short-term downside, I thought we'd get some risk off. I think we may get some sell-off now. I'm looking at the SPX.
Yeah,
So
I think today may mark a short-term high for a 5 to 7% correction. So, but you know, I've cried wolf before.
not too much to ask for, is it? 5
No, not at all. Could happen
But
in a few. It could happen in a week.
could do. So
Yeah.
looking at this, I've got a pivot zone here. So if we look at the dollar, we're trading within this leg here, and this is more short-term view. So what I did was I marked at the midpoint, and if it was to get below here, I'd get bearish, and I'll at least play it towards this key level here, which is our range low. It hasn't been happening. It's just been pushing up and up and up.
Right.
So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I have to switch my bias. So at what point do I switch my bias? And when I say switch my bias, it's going to be short-term still. I still don't have the balls to play some swing trades just yet until we get the new month. Plus it's month end. You know, price action is a bit choppy. So for me, it depends on last week's high right now. So we could still go down. At what point would the probability of the trade increase for me to go down? It'd have to be below the 90 level. If it breaks 108.90 and holds below it, I'm happy to take the short. At that point, my target one will be here. Again, in this environment, I'm going to have to play level to level until it's proven otherwise. So a short-term day trade could evolve into a swing trade. So, you know, some may say, well, you missed the high. Well, that's fine. The probability for me isn't high there. The probability for me is high there. And all I'm concerned about is where is the high probability for the short.
You want confirmations. You don't
Yes.
want, you know, I agree with you, and I still fall into that where you want to get the edge, but you haven't had the signal yet.
Exactly. So if it was to break below here, and I've got the SPX breaking down, and I've got the gold bottoming out, then below here is the high probability play for me. And if it was to break this, then I'm happy to add here. So say I added a small position here, I can add below here. And if we switch that across, it's the mid-range, you can see how pivotal it is across it. So from there, my next level is going to be there. Now, if we smash below here, and that's when my probability for the swing trade is increased, and I'll play it down to here. So I'm still holding out for this trade. It's just difficult to take a long here. I mean, the way it's moving up, it's nothing high probability for me. So again, not much to go with, but it is what it is. If it follows my plan, I'll take it. If it doesn't, forget it. The other pair I've got is Euro USD. And now I'm going to break down Euro USD in a bit of detail. So if I go to the quarterly chart for the Euro USD, and I think we spoke about this last time, I'm looking at this quarterly range. That's the range low, that's the range high. We're right at the midpoint. So anything could happen here. Now I've got a clear plan for this, where if we look on the daily, we had a retest of that mid-range already, rallied, we've deviated it, got back above it, held, rallied. Now when it was around here, I was looking for higher prices, but the confirmation for that would have come if you broke the 90 level here. It didn't, and as you can see, that's a pivotal level here, the 90. So clean break above that, I'm looking for bullishness towards here to take out these highs here. Now if it breaks below the mid-range here, then I think we've got massive downside, because if we look on the weekly, I think that point, if it's going to go lower, if it's going to go high, it should not break this low. But if it breaks back below it again, then I think we play all the way to here. So I think it's a make or break point for Euro USD.
Interesting.
Now going back to that, now that's still a little while away, so I'm happy to wait for like a weekly close before I step in. But I've got a short-term range for Euro USD, which is here. And that short-term range is, if you look, that's the high, that's the low, and this is the midpoint. It's pivotal, support, rally, support, rally. So now, if it breaks this now, then I'm happy to play it from there to take out these lows, which is the midpoint between this and that. If that breaks, then here. Now, if that breaks, then that day trade could evolve into a swing trade because it breaks that quarterly mid-range for us. So at that point, I'm happy to step in and short the market swing trades.
Okay, swing trades under 108.80 ballpark?
Yeah, around there. That's when.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Now, looking at the weeklies, I mean, it's not looking too great. So yeah, so again, it's just planning stage for me. I mean, I'm happy to sit out.
It's interesting. I was talking about too many retests here at 110 support, giving people too many opportunities to buy the same level. Do you ever feel that way? Or you just give it the benefit of the doubt, even if it does it 20 times? No,
it's too many this week for me. And looking at this, a bigger picture, I am bearish. This bigger picture, the only longs I'm playing, I'm taking as counter trend. I mean, my biggest bearish picture came was when we broke out of this range. Why could we hold here? So the quarterly is like the macro view still remains bearish. Nothing's changed with that. It's only if it gets back above here, then I get macro bullish.
Back above 114, you need
114.60. Yeah, at 114, 114.60.
Okay.
But any longs I'm taking is still considered counter trend in my opinion. So
Right.
now the things are shifting. So here I was looking for longs around here. Now things are shifting. It looks like the macro trend could continue, but again, break below here would confirm it, and then we'll ride it lower. So that's that.
Okay.
Another pair, yeah. So if you can break this cleanly, retest it. I'm happy to wait till next week if that unfolds, but it may unfold today actually. See how we close. If we close bearish today, any retest. So a scenario I'll be looking for possibly tomorrow would be, because usually if you're in sync with the trend, I mean, it's quite aggressive. But if with my pen tool, see, Zoom I so prefer when you guys used to use the GoToMeeting.
You like that better?
Just for the pen tool. But yeah, and break of retest and break down below here, then I can short it towards the end there.
Okay.
So the next big one is gold. Now, bigger picture view, I am bearish gold, but I'll be looking for counter trend longs. Now, here's my gold chart. And I think it could trigger for me either today or tomorrow. So bigger picture, I think we go down to the 1380s. Looking at the weekly, I mean, we've had no clean chart. Let's go to get a clean gold chart. So on the monthly, right? I mean, I'm bullish if it comes in today, but even in we've broken out of a huge range here. We can see this clear cut to everybody. Yeah, but within that, we can get correction. And looking across the market with the dollar strength, the thing that happens now, especially with the risk on happening. So I'm looking for a move down into here. So I'm happy with 1400 to 1400, 1380. Now, if we look, I was looking for a pullback into around here. We didn't get that, but it did touch the minimal, which was here actually. Well, one of these lows anyway. Right. So my key level going forward is the 1450 level. And if we look, okay, it's this range, 1450 is here. Yeah. It's this range here. So that's resistance broken out, support there. So if it cleanly breaks below here, then that takes us back within this old range here. So this all this becomes a deviation, which means we should easily drop to here. So the moment the 1450 can break, I'm waiting for, let it hold. If you can continue breaking down, then I'm happy to short it and it'll be a swing trade. So for me, I'm on the sidelines until it breaks that. So yeah, so nothing clear cut right now other than just planning stage, which is frustrating. And before I just used to go in, even before you confirm, I see it chopped up like that, but now a bit more disciplined. Oil though, I think it goes higher. I'm going to go to a quarterly chart for oil, bigger picture oil. It's another one on my radar. Let's go to any oil chart. So this is a quarterly chart we spoke about before as well. And if you look at the quarterly, at this point, I wasn't sure, but now it looks like, it wants to push higher. So I reckon this high here, so when it bounces, that's a key resistance. And if we look at that level here, we couldn't close above it. But look at the turn point. It's a quarterly. We've still got over a month left. I think we push towards 60.7 and then the 62.55. So macro view, I'm bullish oil unless we break below them open. So having said that, let's break this down further into a lower time frame. And I've got a little range drawn out here, which is range low, range high, and then the mid range. Yeah. Now, if we look, okay, we were consolidating here for a while, and then we faked out, and then got back above it. It's hit it. I think as long as this low holds, we're pushing towards here. So I'm looking for a trade entry now. So my trade entry trigger will come in the form, I think it's ready now. As long as, so we got that high that caused the low, resistance, found support, is holding. I think as long as we hold here, I think it's a decent long here. I might actually take that one off. No, but yeah, I think it's a decent long here as long as we don't come back below here. Because if we come back below here, then that becomes a deviation. So I think it's a decent long. I'd probably put a hard stop there, but if it wasn't to swing fail this, I'd cut it. I'm going for about 68, call it about 60, 50, 60, 80. So yeah, decent reward here. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. That's about it, really.
Any view on Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think that's everybody's tuning in for Bitcoin, really. So yeah, let's go with Bitcoin. So apart from Bitcoin, let's get a clean chart. So with Bitcoin, I do believe bigger picture we push lower. Okay, and the range I'm using is a bigger time frame range which we used last time. Low of the year, high of the year, midpoint for the year, and this is the midpoint between the mid range and range low. So I believe this is the next bigger picture downside target, and if that breaks, then probably here. Yeah. I wouldn't say but I think all these drops are relative. People get excited about these, but this is unnatural, percentage-wise. So why should a downside move is relative? There's another Bitcoin chart I'm looking at, and if you look at it, bigger picture, I don't think anything's changed. It's just sometimes you just got to step back. But I think in the crypto community, they're not really used to how traditional markets work. So it's mainly people that just.
Not a bad candle we're getting in here.
I mean, if this is just short term still. I mean, here just range band really. This is the range, top and bottom bands. So unless this cleanly breaks, then we can start panicking.
Yeah.
But again, with Bitcoin, even if we went to 2K, it'll do 20K within a year, like it did before. So what am I looking for short term? So my short term plan was when it broke. This is my range low. And that's my range high. So I took a long, small size long here, and as soon as it got back above previous day's low, I took a added more to it. So as the probability of the trade increases, so when I took a long here, my valuation would have had to be in here because it could still pull lower and still be valid. So I've got to put my stop where I'm wrong, not where I want a tight entry. So having said that, what am I looking for next? Until it breaks out of this range, it's still range bound. But I believe short term, I'm looking for a pullback towards here at least. That would be where I'm wrong, because if it breaks that now, most likely we're going to head towards here. So one way of doing it is, I can use a pen tool here, I think. One scenario I'm looking for is a pullback there. And if you can give me the confirmation, I'll take a long there, stop, risk there, still aim for there. But because it's tapped a few times, probability was it should break out, and that's my target. Why am I targeting there? Is because if we go back, okay, it's based on this old consolidation here. This was the consolidation. Then I'd treat this as an anomaly. So if this wasn't there, what would I be looking for? Breakdown, retest, sell-off. So I treat that as an anomaly. So I'm looking for a retest there. If it breaks down from there, then I'm happy to continue the swing short all the way back down towards here.
What a tricky business. Anomalies and what was the word you were using before when a market went above an area and didn't stick? What you were
deviation.
Deviation, anomalies. What a business of uncertainty, isn't it?
It is. It's so gray. There's no certainties. If this happens, then I do this.
Yeah.
And then it's just probabilities. What I'm gonna look for to increase the probability of the trade. So, thing is, what if it falls from here? So, okay, so I'm not happy to look for a long there. That's my invalidation level. If it cleanly breaks above here, then the probability of that long towards here increases, so I can trade it here. So if I don't have the balls to take it here, or the probability for me is not high, I'll wait for a break of this. That means retest, wait for my bullish entry, and then I'll play it there. And this is the point I'll be watching. Now, that does not mean I'm wrong if on the short idea if it breaks this. I'm completely wrong on the idea if it breaks above here. So I think it's an interesting time with consolidation, pull up above, and then break down. So now if it does drop from here, because it doesn't necessarily have to go from there, I believe this level, if the 66.40 level breaks, then I think we go back into, I think we play it to there. So it's just level to level for me.
Okay.
So
let me ask you this, Saeed. I've talked to you several times. Do you trade for the money or because you love it?
Both. I mean, it's all about the money.
Great answer. Okay.
But, yeah.
That's why I knew you were going to say that. So yeah. But if you made less money doing this, would you still do it?
Probably, yeah, because that's all I've done. I've never had a proper job.
Yeah, you love it. Okay, everyone, that's a big news flash. Saeed Zaman loves trading.
I think
and he enjoys money too. So what a headline, huh?
I think you have to love it. I mean, if you don't love it, you won't do what it takes to, for example, these little intricacies I notice. That's only noticed because I'm obsessed with it. Yeah. But if you're not obsessed with something, especially in trading, is a ruthless business where you're wrong, you get punished. So you've got to love it as well, and then the money's a bonus.
From one masochist to another, I don't know if you celebrate it, but I'm thankful that I've gotten to know you, Saeed. Happy Thanksgiving, and I hope that you and your crew have a great winter holiday trading season, and proud to call you my trading warrior brother.
Thank you very much. You have good Thanksgiving as well.
Okay, everyone, that's Saeed Zaman. You can follow him at Trader1Z, and he has a website, and as you could tell, he has a very good style that he has conviction with, and kind of reminds me of Steve Volge in a way. Saeed likes to see confirmation. So that's going to be a wrap, everyone, for the rest of the week. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you, DJ, and Brock, and everyone here, and enjoy. And I'm going to change my tagline just a little bit. Don't just count your pips, count your blessings, and be one to others. And I'll see everyone on Monday. Thank you. Adios. Thank you, Saeed.